আসসালামু আলাইকুম এভরিওয়ান, দিস ইজ তৌহিদ ফ্রম আইসিসি। আপনাদের সবাইকে আইসিসি থেকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি যারা আজকে আমাদের এই ইভেন্টে জয়েন করেছেন। আজকে রিয়েলি টুডে ইজ ওয়ান অফ দ্য স্পেশাল ডে ইন আইসিসি, স্পেশালি ফর কানাডা। We have a very special guest with us, my long-term friend and one of the premier in education history in Canada, Mr. Diwakar Sharma from Wilfrid Laurier University. He is the regional recruitment manager as well, and he already gone through different training in immigration and study abroad as well as teaching, and he also popular in his YouTube channel. সো আপনারা যারা আজকে আছেন আমাদের সাথে, আমরা কানাডা জার্নি নিয়ে কথা বলবো, শুধুমাত্র কোনো পার্টিকুলার ইউনিভার্সিটি না। ড্যানি ভাই নিজেই একজন স্টুডেন্ট হিসাবে ইনিশিয়ালি জার্নিটা শুরু করেছিল অনেক বছর আগে। সো আপনারা তাকে অনেকেই জানেন যে সে কানাডার যে লাইফ সম্বন্ধে, ওখানে আপনার স্টাডি করার ক্ষেত্রে কি কি জিনিসটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট দিতে হয়, কিভাবে পার্ট টাইম জবের জন্য আপনার অ্যাপ্লাই করতে হয়, তাছাড়া অন্যান্য যেসব দিক থাকে পড়াশোনা শেষ করার পরে ক্যারিয়ারের যে অপরচুনিটি গুলো থাকে, আজকে আমরা এই সকল বিষয় নিয়ে আলাপ করব। তো ফার্স্ট অফ অল আই উড লাইক টু ওয়েলকাম মিস্টার দিবাকর শর্মা। থ্যাংক ইউ ড্যানি ভাই ফর কামিং।
Thank you, Touhid bhai, and thank you for IECC. I cherish this friendship for many, many years, and I hope we are going to continue to be friends till we are alive. And I'm saying that people in Bangladesh, hello to all of you, my Bangladeshi friends. I really enjoy coming to Bangladesh to see the hospitality which has been offered to me by different people in the country. So stay blessed, stay safe. And today we are here to discuss the journey in Canada, and I'm very happy to start with that. I'll tell my story to begin with, and maybe that's something you might excite you guys. So I'm originally from India. I did my master's degree from India, and I was looking for education overseas. At that point of time, my focus was UK, and I did apply to a university in UK, and I was waiting for the admission offer to come through. During that particular time, a friend of mine was interested in going to Canada, and I had never thought about Canada. I have like, Canada? Who wants to go to Canada? Far away, so cold. Everything you hear about Canada is it's so cold, it's so far away. But that friend of mine persuaded me that we should go and attend this education fair, and we did in Delhi. And at that time, mostly the community colleges were there to promote themselves. So I liked a particular program at a college. I looked at the program because I did my master's degree in mass communication. I was interested in doing something in media and media related programs. So there was a program offered by Niagara College. It was postgraduate certificate in public relations. So I met with the manager at that time. He looked at me, we had a good chat, and he said, "Why don't you choose some other program?" And I'm like, "Why?" So he thinks, not only he thinks the coordinator of the program feels that Asian students don't have the skills to complete a program like public relations because there's going to be a lot of grammar, reading, writing, and all that. And I looked at him and I'm like, "Really? You think we will not be able to do this program?" I said, "I'm not interested in coming to Canada. I'm not interested in your program either or your college either. Only thing I like is this course. If I can get admission in this particular program, sure, I'm going to think about Canada. Otherwise, I'm focusing on UK." So, as we say, destiny plays a major role. So, we plan, God has different plans. So, probably a week later, I got this offer letter from Niagara College that I have been accepted into the postgraduate program in public relations. Probably the first international student to start the program, and I was excited. Uh, at that point of time, there was no such thing as student direct scheme. I know it's not in Bangladesh, but in many other countries, there's a scheme called student direct scheme where you deposit 1 year tuition fee, you deposit $10,000 in GIC account, and you can get your visa. But not in India, not as a Pakistani. What you needed to do is, if you are going to Canada and your expense is $15,000 in tuition fee and $10,000 is your living expense, your family should be able to show $100,000, and that should be all legitimate money counted for. Okay, there should be proper income tax documentation should be there. So I applied for the program, accepted, applied for the visa. I remember my father working hard to prepare a file for me. It's a huge file to take to the visa office. So lots of documentation related to what education I've already done, IELTS exam I've already done. Then all about funds, where they were working, my parents, my mom and dad, there because they're both government servants. So their documentation, all the income tax they have, all the fixed deposits we have, all the liquid cash we have, even the property we had, everything was listed on that file. So there was no VFS. You're going through an interview process, and when you're there, you go through an interview, they look at each and every document. They're like, okay, what have you brought? You show the file, and you are standing outside of a window and they're looking at you from the glass. Like, it's a different experience. And about 10 minutes later, the interview was done, and the officer was very kind. An officer was like, this is off the record, but your study permit has been approved. And he asked me questions. Do you like to stay in Canada? So they would like to ask you this particular question multiple times just to make sure if you want to stay in Canada, if your intention is just to stay there, not to study, or will you ever come back to your home country? At that point of time, my intention was not to stay in Canada, and I was, and then I'm a single child, so I was like, no, I don't want to stay in Canada. I'm going there for education. So I went there. He gave me the visa and all. He told me, you're getting a wonderful opportunity. We know that people say they don't want to stay, but normally everyone wants to stay and try different things. I'm like, we'll see. I came back actually after that particular program to India. And when I came back, I was not able to adjust because it's different culture, right? So while you're already in Canada, you start adjusting into the Western style of life, Western living conditions and education. I did very well in the program. I did my internship in the international department under the same manager who was there in India to recruit students. And I was the first one to be part of a Niagara International newspaper. We started for the department, and that was focused on a lot of interviews of the faculty, staff, teachers, and that was focused for the agents that, okay, there's this, and this was a physical newspaper which we worked on. I'm really happy that I had a chance to do that. He took me out for dinner on my last day of my internship, and he was like, are you sure you don't want to be here? And I'm like, yeah, I have no intention of staying in Canada. I want to go back. So he's like, okay, if that's what you want to do, but remember, if you ever want to come back, there are always opportunities. So I left, moved back to India, worked there for 8 months in academics. And then I was like, this is not working. So I told my parents that maybe this is something I don't want to continue doing. I want to go back to Canada because that's a better place to be. So I took admission in another program at Niagara College again, and this was Ontario Graduate Certificate in Teaching English as a Second Language. So that's from where my journey in academics started. So that's a wonderful experience when I went back, and wonderful in a way.
It's really
Yeah.
what you in most cases it is quite common to all students, especially from South Asia, and Bangladeshi student most of the Bangladeshi student এই ধরনের প্রবলেম ফেস করে থাকে। তো আজকে আসলে আমাদের ইভেন্টটা এটার জন্য অ্যারেঞ্জ করা যে যারা কানাডাতে যাওয়ার ব্যাপারে চিন্তা করছেন বা এখনো একটু হলেও থট দিচ্ছেন, তো আপনাদের যে কোনো ধরনের কোশ্চেন থাকলে আপনারা আমাদেরকে শেয়ার করতে পারেন। আমরা আমাদের এক্সপিরিয়েন্স থেকে, আমাদের পার্সোনাল এবং আমাদের যে প্রফেশনাল যে এক্সপিরিয়েন্স আছে, আমরা আপনাদের হেল্প করার চেষ্টা করব। স্টুডেন্ট হোক, প্যারেন্টস হোক, ফিল ফ্রি টু আস্ক কোশ্চেন. We'll try to solve your queries between we discuss. So what we already heard, Danny Bhai already gone through the complicated or certain decision to going to Canada, and he make his journey with quite complex process at that time, but things is now a lot easier. Now we can apply online, we can submit through VFS. Most cases there are a lot of agents helping international students to make their journey a lot easier. That what we already heard, and you already heard from Danny Bhai that sometime what happen, you may not interested at the initial stage, but you should browse the options. Like what we do, like sometime when we search for job, we particularly apply some particular position, but we also try for other position just to see the options. So if you have a option to visit any education agent or education fair, you should go there, just explore the option, nothing harm on that. So and that can lead to a great decision in your future life, যেটা ড্যানি ভাইয়ের সাথে হয়েছে। আমাদেরকে শেয়ার করলেন যে ইনিশিয়ালি উনি হয়তো ওইভাবে পার্টিকুলারলি ফিল করেন না যে উনি বাইরেতে পড়বেন, কিন্তু দেখা গেছে একটা সার্টেন ইনসিডেন্টের কারণে গেছেন। এবং যেটা অনেক সময় হয় যে ইনিশিয়ালি you choose one subject or one particular university, sometime it not suit you best, then there is always an option to change your program in between and so on. So that's really wonderful that Danivai explained all his journey very smoothly. So Danivai, you are in Canada for quite long time. So you initially never thought to stay in Canada, but later decided to remain in Canada. What attract you most about the Canada and your journey that lead you to live in Canada?
Sure. I'll say, just like any other individual, I was ignorant about Canada, to be very honest, because no one knows much about Canada on an international platform. We hear about UK, we hear about US and some other countries, but Canada is such a peaceful country. It stays behind the door, right? It's like, okay, we will keep doing our generous work, we will keep doing peacekeeping, we will keep doing things which are in benefit of the people of Canada and overall the world. So that attracted me, and the lifestyle is so good that you cannot compare that you can ever have the similar kind of lifestyle back home in our countries, be it in India or be it in Bangladesh. Uh, the kind of environment we have, the clean air, the clean water, and the law and order is there. You're not wasting your time in the traffic. You have your life. Monday to Friday, if you're working, that's your time you work, and after that, you're free. No one is sending you a message at 9 o'clock in the evening to get some work done. So you have time for yourself, right? And there are many other benefits in Canada. If you are a permanent resident in Canada or you're a citizen here, there are lots of benefits we can never think about them, like free healthcare, right? So we all pay taxes. Yes, the taxation is high, but in return of that, we get free healthcare. That means you can go see a doctor if needed to. You don't have to pay for that. If you get admitted in the hospital, you don't have to worry about saving money for your treatment. It's going to be done through the tax system we have in place. Your children, if they're born here, or even if you move here on a permanent resident visa and you have kids, they can study here for free till grade 12. And schooling is really expensive, and especially in Asia, it's becoming way too expensive for parents to afford. But here, your kids can go to school for free. My kids are going to school here. We are not paying anything for the school. Next year, my elder son will be in grade 9 and he'll be in another school. So he need a bus service. We're not going to pay for the bus service either. So everything is covered by our taxes. So that's the benefit. And I think these two things are the biggest burden on any human being, thinking about their health, thinking about the education of their kids. So if that's taken care of, I'll say 90% of the burden has been taken away. So those things attract you. And the other point is the passport. So I worked hard. I liked Canada and I decided to stay here, and now I have the Canadian passport, right? So this passport allows me to travel and travel to over 173 countries visa free or visa on arrival. So we don't have to go through the process of getting all the paperwork done. Going to US is so easy for me. We are just next door. From my place, 45 minutes, you're in the US and you don't need any visa. You don't need visa for UK, Australia, or any other places. Maybe a ETA, but easy process. So life is much easier through Canada or any developed country, I'll say.
Yeah, that's really nice to know that all the inside people always say the common things like quality educations and as well as low tuition fees or low living. But there are another thing you mentioned about the medical fees as well as other the calmness of lifestyle, as you don't have to bother about the traffics and so on. You don't have to go through all the corruption and other things that really hampers our day-to-day life in this part of the world. So sometime when a student initially not decided to remain in Canada, but after spending several years, they just give a second thought. So, and that's why we are discussing this fact that it is not necessary that you have to stay in Canada, but there is always option. You can complete your short program and return back. But if you wish, still Canada is one of the most welcoming country for international student, where you can remain after you finish your degree. So, Danny bhai, after your study, your initial job was as a teacher, or you start your career in other field? after finishing your degree?
That was also a really good experience for us. And I'll say when I was doing this Ontario teaching English as a second language program, uh, the teachers went on strike. So there was things, right? Things happened. And the teachers decided that we want to deal with the provincial government and we want some raise. So they went on strike. And after the first semester of our program, we were the teachers for a lot of students. So there are many students who come from South America, Middle East, Saudi to learn English. So these students, international students, are already in Canada. They have paid the tuition fee, and we are being trained as teachers in one term we've already done, but the actual teachers are not allowed to get in the campus. Many of them want to, but because they're part of the union, they are in the strike, they're not. So we were the teachers. So it was a wonderful experience for us that we were all sent in the classrooms as teachers to do our practicum and all and teach these students. So the first interaction was as a pre-ESL service instructor. So I took that position. I did get a job with a program which is run by Citizenship and Immigration Canada for newcomers to Canada also. Post that, I continued to be in the teaching field itself, and another wonderful job came through a community college, and they had a project in China. When I heard about project in China, I'm like, really? I have never thought about it, but the option came. I took the option. I moved from Canada to China, stayed there with a Canadian employer, and I loved my time there because I taught there for about 2 years and continued to be in the education field for that long now.
Yeah, so that's really help you a lot to what career you choose, because you not only as an international student came to Canada, you also have the experience to work directly with the student and know their needs, that they what they like, what they don't. So it's really help you to establish and get emotional bonding with most of our student. I know few of our student is still with you at least around 10-15 years. They are like a friend with you, and you know what they're going through. So that's really helps international students. So since you already experienced by like you go there and you know how international student cope up with new environment. So what is your advice, like when international student decide a country, what should they consider, and which and when they want to study in a particular institute, which the factor they should consider, like how to select country and institution?
See, first is we have to match our own goals, right? What our goal is. Is
Yeah.
education our only goal? Is the quality of education our goal? Or a quality lifestyle is what we want? Or we are looking at options to get postgraduate work permit. So nowadays, if we look at, it's a good opportunity for international students to come and study in most of the countries. But we need to also understand how easier it is for you to be successful in this particular region. So for Canada per se, the students are looking for Canada in itself. Legally, you're allowed to work 20 hours during the week. So when you're an international student and you want to take some burden off yourself or your parents, you can work 20 hours during the week during studies. You can work full time during your vacation time. And when you finish your program, depending on the length of the program, to a maximum of 3 years, you get a postgraduate work permit. So if you're coming to a community college, you do a 2 years diploma or a 3 years diploma, you get a 3 year work permit. You're coming to a public university after finishing a 4 year undergraduate degree, you still get a 3 year postgraduate work permit. So depending on that, it's your choice to make, depending on the budget, also your academic qualifications, that can you get into a university or not. So decide in that way. My recommendation to international students is they should look at programs where they'll be able to succeed in their career, right? If you are into the field of sciences, you always have higher chances of success, because if you are a student who is looking for computer science, biomedical, engineering, or any other thing, you will always succeed at a faster rate, irrespective of any other program. But on the same side, hospitality industry, travel and tourism industry, they all have good options for the students to succeed. Um, Canada does offer multiple level of education, community colleges, universities. Now, permanent residence process has changed a little bit. Earlier, if you were in Canada as an international student, you will have a different scope to get into the immigration. Now you all apply to the express entry, depending on where you're studying. If you're going to a university and you graduate with a bachelor's or a master's degree, you always get higher scores, higher points to be able to apply for express entry. You're going to a community college straight after grade 12, you might not have those points to get into PR. But if you are going after a bachelor's degree from your home country and choosing a community college for 2 years, you still will have enough points to qualify. My other recommendation for my fellow Bangladeshi students and any other international student is when you reach Canada or any country of your choice, try to make friends with people from all different cultures and nationalities. If you will stay only with people from Bangladesh, you will be labeled as someone who's not interested in exploring the local culture or becoming part of the local culture. So don't get labeled. Have friends from different parts. Make local Canadian friends. Make friends amongst all international students. It will help you. You will learn about their culture because the job and life is more about what you know and experience. So Canada is all about networking. So you will get a degree, that's a hard skill. But what soft skills have you developed during your stay as an international student that will make you a good person and help you succeed? So this is my personal advice, and that's what I have done. When I came to Canada, I opted to stay in a homestay program. So homestay is that you choose to stay with a local Canadian family and then you stay there as a paying guest, but you're part of that particular family. So I used to go out for shopping with that family. I used to visit their relatives. I used to visit their friends. And this is how you get a bonding done and you learn how the local culture is and you succeed in a much faster way because you have your connections in the society. So that's my recommendation. Choice is yours to follow it or not.
Thank you, Danny Bhai, to clarify all the important aspect. As Danny Bhai mentioned, not only you select a particular country for study, you need to consider all other options, the living environments, the career outcomes, as well as if you have the opportunity to work or not, whether you can work after your study or not, whether there are, if you can bring or, your spouse and family with you or not. So there are a lot of thing to consider, and most importantly you should know your career. Sometimes what's happened, people just rush to the PR options or any other options rather than study. So we always encourage our students to concentrate on study first. As Daniva mentioned, you should consider studying the subject that demanding current situation or on demand in next 2 to 3 years ahead, so that when you finish your degree you have lot of options. And also Danny mentioned about choosing the course duration. Every country has particular requirements for to qualify for post-study work permit or for PR options. Since Danny is working to immigration little bit immigration sector and have great knowledge about that thing, he already gave great advice, like if you come to only for diploma or so on, sometime it might be difficult for you to get PR. But if you have a bachelor degree and then come and do a short courses, there is a possibility to get PR as well. So students should consider these things, and that's why we are here today. যে আপনাদের যাদের এখানে কানাডাতে স্টাডির ব্যাপারে ওখানে ওয়ার্ক রাইটের জন্য কত বছরের কোর্স করতে হবে, কোন প্রোগ্রামটাতে আপনার ক্যারিয়ারের জন্য ভালো হবে, কোন প্রোগ্রামে পোস্ট স্টাডি ওয়ার্ক পারমিট বেশি আছে, বা কোন প্রোগ্রামে আপনারা পিআর এর জন্য অ্যাপ্লাই করতে পারবেন, এই ধরনের জিনিসগুলো নিয়ে আমরা আসলে আজকে আলাপ করছি, যেন আপনারা একটা ইনফর্ম ডিসিশন নিতে পারেন। এই প্যান্ডামিক সিচুয়েশনে অনেক ক্ষেত্রে ডিফিকাল্ট অফিসে ভিজিট করা, কিন্তু আপনাদেরকে আমরা ইনফর্ম করার চেষ্টা করছি, কারণ অনেক সময় দেখা যায় যে স্টুডেন্টরা একটু ইনফরমেশনের অভাবে অনেক সময় দেখা যায় যে তারা পিআর এর জন্য অ্যাপ্লাই করতে পারে না, বা তারা যে সাবজেক্টটা চেয়েছিল সেটাতে না যে অন্য সাবজেক্টে চেয়ে সেখানে খারাপ করে। সো ইফ ফিল ফ্রি টু আস্ক কোশ্চেন, যে আপনারা যারা কানাডার স্টাডি ব্যাপারে, পিআর এর ব্যাপারে, বা ওখানে কোন কোর্সটা করলে আপনার জন্য হেল্পফুল হতে পারে, আমাদেরকে আস্ক করতে পারেন। We will try our best to serve you. So there are a lot of aspects as we discuss to selecting a particular country and selecting a particular institution. So Danny, most of the student willing to study undergrad program from Bangladesh, and they are widely available in all institution, or they can go through diploma. So Canada have two system most cases, like they can do diploma initially and then follow up with a bachelor's degree for remaining 2 years or so. They can do the first 2 years from university or some colleges and then come back to the university later on. So can you elaborate these things, because sometimes students are a little bit confused about the diploma and bachelor's program.
Yeah, I'll say these options are available for sure, diploma to degree, but it depends on the institution to institution, right? I cannot say that if you go to a community college and you do a diploma and that diploma will totally be acceptable into a degree, right? If there has to be a link between what you have done and what you want to pursue in a degree program. Sometimes it can surprise you that even after finishing a 3-year diploma from a community college, you might get only 1 year of credit at a university. The reason is that community colleges programs are more hands-on. They prepare you for the job market. Universities have also taken the new role of preparing you for the job market through the co-op programs. For example, let's say Wilfrid Laurier. So here at this university, there are many programs which come with co-op opportunity. So for our international students, I need to explain what a co-op is. So like there's internship. In an internship, you're not paid for, you work for free. When you come in a co-op, you will get help from the university's co-op division, and you'll be placed to work in an organization, in a company. There they will pay you. So average weekly salary for a student who comes in our business degree program is about $700 to $800 a week. If you're in our arts program, it's around $600 to $700. So it depends on what you want to do, right? On the same side, university programs are very competitive to get in. Community college programs are much easier to get in. So it's a different career path. So someone said, if I complete a diploma in business from a community college and I complete a degree in business from a university, what's the difference? Difference would be in the salary structure which you're going to get. Because once you apply for a job from finishing from a diploma, is a possibility that you might be starting on an average $35,000 or $40,000 a year. But if you go through the university, you might be starting from 50 to earn through different levels. Okay, so that's one thing which you need to keep in mind. Other aspects which you need to also understand is that what are your promotion chances? As I said, if you already have a bachelor's degree, go ahead with a community college postgraduate diploma to start your career. So once you are in the industry, you're already working, you have positions, you can at later time go back to the university and get a different degree. It might take longer time, but you can start yourself. If you are starting just after your grade 12 and you have the entry requirements, the recommendation to go, because there time there you'll be able to succeed in a much faster, better way. So these are two different variances.
Yeah, that's a thank you for clarifying these things, because a lot of students initially willing to go community colleges or some colleges not thinking about their future, because there are only few reputed colleges will give you credits towards your journey. Otherwise, most of the college you will not get any credits to your university life, and there is also a points difference, right? If I like when you complete a diploma, you get lesser points than when you complete a bachelor's program from any particular university.
That is true. That is true.
So
And
yeah,
yeah, most community colleges nowadays they have started offering their own bachelor's degree also. So if that is something in your mind, you may try to get into a program which can actually transfer into a bachelor's degree at that community college. Could be one option. The second option is always looking at the public universities where your career can have better progression chances. Yeah.
yeah, and always university is a big way, as you mentioned little earlier, that students should broad their friend circle. They should mix with different culture, different people, and they should make friends from as many countries as possible to give them truly multicultural experience. They can get good networks in their future careers, or they can get an informed decision for their peer group. So university give them lot of options because college don't have that much wide range of students compared to a particular universities and so on. So if someone have the money, student is qualified, so I always suggest the student should go for university and get the real life experience. As you mentioned rightly, if you already have a local bachelor degree, you might consider other option, but there is a big difference studying in a small environment and compared to a big campus with a reputed university in Canada or any part of the world. So anyway, you are working with, as you mentioned, like the co-op option. You are working on of the most career-oriented and highly regarded university in Canada, Wilfrid Laurier University, and it is very popular among most of the countries. So you mentioned about the co-op option. So how co-op as well as your university help international students for their fulfilling their career ambition, and why your graduate success is very high for Wilfrid Laurier? Can you little bit tell about the Wilfrid Laurier University?
Yep. So Wilfrid Laurier is a public institution, right? So a lot of people need to understand it's a public university, 109-year-old institution. We have about 22,000 students, about 80 undergraduate and 25 graduate programs. We are very proud of offering a lot of co-op options in literally in every faculty we have other than the international education department. So once you come to Laurier, be it Faculty of Arts, Social Sciences, Science, or Business, your program will include a co-op option from 1 to 16 months of paid co-op opportunity. So why is co-op important? Co-op is important for domestic and international students, both to get some actual experience in the industry. So you study and then you utilize that knowledge into the work environment. So we have a co-op department. Their job is to help international and domestic students to get into co-op. And there's an interview process. Every student, let's say I'm an international student, I come to Wilfrid Laurier University, I get admission in Bachelor's in Business Technology Management program. In the 4-year degree program, it has 3 terms of paid co-op. So I will create my profile on a network system which is through the university and put my things in there. So if a student is coming from Bangladesh, you have a plus point. You're multilingual, right? So you should be proud that you can speak a language more than English. So you always will say, and that will help you in industry wherever people are looking for multilingual people. So that is one thing you should keep in mind. And once you create the profile in that particular section, you will tell things about yourself, any extracurricular activity you've already done, any projects you have already done, or the kind of industries you want to join. So the co-op department will provide you the list of our employers who are on panel with us. There are about 6,300 employers who are on panel with the university, and you'll be able to choose some of the employers and say, these are the companies I want to work with. The same way, employers also provide us with what they are looking for in a candidate. They'll be like, we want someone who has maybe multilingual skill, someone who is good in computers, someone who knows how to do sales. So there would be multiple skill sets, and there's going to be a matching system between you and the employer. And when it matches, you go through an interview process. To succeed in interview, you get your co-op. A lot of students finish their co-op at one employer. Many students choose to do co-ops with different employers during the time of the program. So if you're in BBTM, as I said, you have 3-term paid co-op. You might be able to do a 1 term at a bank. You might be able to do the 2nd term at the university, or you might go work with any other organization within the region. So gain experience from all different sides, right? So more you will work in different organizations, you will learn. My example I'll give, when I did my education in one of my first jobs, I was told by the chairman of the organization, can you send this fax? Fax was a thing at that point of time, and I never expected that someone will ever tell me to go fax a document. I'm like, I didn't know, but I didn't want to say to my boss that I don't know how to do a fax. I took the document. It's a real story. So I took the document, I sent a fax, I called that person and said, did you receive the fax? They said, yes, they have received the fax, but it's all blank. And I was like, all blank? How is it all blank? He said, because you're putting it upside down. So I learned. So these basic things help us learn. And that was the only first time I did a fax. I've never done fax in the last 14 years, but that first experience is still in my mind and tells me every small job, every small thing we learn on the job is important. So we all will learn through that. A lot of young students don't know what a floppy is or a CD-ROM is, but we have worked through that system also. Whereas working MS-DOS, that's what the computer started with. So my recommendation to every student is when you go on a co-op, yes, you've already been placed, but the work environment in North America is a little bit different. So you've already been given a project. If you have finished your project before time, go talk to your supervisor. Go talk to whoever you're reporting to and say, I've already done this. What is the next job for me? What is the next project you want me to work on? Because when you do this, you tell the employer that you are sincere, you want to learn, you want to contribute in the organization, and then they look at you as a prospective employee. So they say this person will get a full-time job because he or she is willing to contribute in our organization. And that's how a lot of our international domestic students end up getting full-time jobs through the co-op.
That's great to know, and thank you for giving your real life experience, because it's always helps. Like you need to try, as Danify did, and he never forgot that what's the important of learning thing practically. You maybe learn about the fax machine, you may learn about the computer and so on, but until you experience the real thing, there are a lot of difference in the theoretical and practical life and so on. And one of the best beauties in Canadian study, the co-op program, because where you are not only getting the real experience with the industry, you are also being paid and you are earning heavily, so it can also contribute to your managing your finances as well. So co-opটা one of the great thing. আপনারা যারা কানাডাতে যাচ্ছেন অবশ্যই আপনারা যখন ইউনিভার্সিটি এবং প্রোগ্রাম চুজ করবেন, কোঅপের দিকটা মাথায় রাখবেন। কোঅপের মাধ্যমে আপনারা রিয়েল এক্সপেরিয়েন্স একটা কোম্পানিতে ফুল টাইম এমপ্লয়ি হিসাবে আপনারা জয়েন করতে পারেন এবং আপনাদেরকে পেড করা হয়, এবং পরবর্তীতে এটা আপনাদের রিজুমিতে সিভিতে আপনারা এটা অনেক হাইলি অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট করে যে আপনার কানাডিয়ান এক্সপেরিয়েন্স, আপনি গ্র্যাজুয়েশনে বিফোর ইউ গ্র্যাজুয়েট ইউ হ্যাভ এ real experience with a multinational company or with a North American company. That will always help to your become a global professionals in every sector. So that's why Wilfrid Laurier is one of the great university in Canada to be career oriented and highly regarded among the employers. So beside the career options, Danify, could you tell us about the university, where it's located and how its journey began, and as you mentioned, that what's the accommodation facilities for the students? So how far it is from? I think it's in Ontario. So how far it is in Toronto? So can you tell a little bit about Wilfrid Laurier University?
Sure. Sure. A lot of students, they want to know where the university is, and it's a right thing to know. We are about 1.5 hours away from Toronto, and we have two campuses. We have one campus in the city of Waterloo. The other campus is in the city of Brantford. Both campuses are unique in their own way. So our Waterloo campus is in the downtown core of the city, and we are the proud parent of University of Waterloo. So we do have some partnership programs with University of Waterloo, which we call double degree programs. Like you can do 2 degrees in 5 years, and they also come with a 4-term paid co-op. You can do a bachelor's in business administration from Wilfrid Laurier. You can get a BSc in computer science from University of Waterloo, or a degree in, and your career progress is really fast because you'll be having 2 degrees from these two institutions. Location wise, because we're in the downtown core, there are lots of job opportunities for international students in the Waterloo region. Waterloo is considered the Silicon Valley of Canada. So if you're looking for jobs in the tech sector, if you're coming to study computer science, if you're coming to study programs like data science or anything to do with sciences, there are lots of research and innovation happening in the Waterloo region. And the cost of living is much less in comparison to Toronto. You can rent a room for $500 to $600 a month here in the Waterloo region. You can find plenty of jobs for yourself, and you can do well as an international student to support your education. And even once you graduate, you don't have the Waterloo area. Our campus, Our Brantford campus on the other side is a smaller campus. We have about 3,500 students in our Brantford campus. This is a campus for students who need to learn English as well. Our Laurier English Foundation program is run through our Brantford campus, and many other multiple programs are run through there. So it's more English focused environment, but it helps students to emerge into the environment where will they learn what Canada is all about. So Brantford, that's where I sit normally, and that's my office. I really enjoy being in Brantford, and it's very much a European style campus. You can walk through the city. It's our buildings are spread out in whole of the city. We have the city hall next to our building. We have upper courthouse near there. So the unique programs at Brantford campus: digital media and journalism, game design and development, user experience
Yes,
design.
actually, Mr. Bell is also there. Thank you for inviting me. I personally
That's right.
experienced things and really experienced the warm welcome you gave me. Yes, it is really wonderful to. It's the calm and everything is very close by, so the student can experience lot of thing in Brantford campus as well, beside the main campus in Waterloo. So thank you very much, Danny Bhai, for inviting me. And I also had experience that it is almost everything is walking distance. Either it's called banks or any other needs you can get in the same campus, and it is not too far from Toronto. You can come there and go in the same day. So
That's right.
sometimes students only know like about the Toronto and so on, but as you rightly said, like they're not only enjoying a beautiful campus, but living cost is also less, and they can also go and done their work in Toronto or meet their relative in Toronto in very easy way. So the student listening to this program, so you should not only consider about the Toronto fact that there are a lot of other good university just little bit far from the Toronto, and you get bigger campus, because in Toronto you don't have the bigger campus options because it's already congested. So for bigger and better facility, you need to go little far from the main downtown city. So please, Danibai, go ahead. Uh,
Yeah.
Sorry to
So
interrupt.
yeah, no, no, that's good. Campuses are unique. We have all services available for international students at both our campuses. When it comes to residence options, we always recommend the first year students should try to stay on campus. And the reason behind that is because you're new to the country, you're new to the city, you're not aware about the facilities available and where the classes are. For the first year, if you stay on campus, you will get used to the campus, and it would be easy for you to maneuver from your classroom, from your room to the classroom and back. There are multiple options for you to stay depending on your choice. If you're a very private person, you can go for a one room, single room. If you like to have company, you can have a double room option. If you are looking at the budget, you can stay in the dorm style. There would be 5 people in one room, but everyone will have a separate living condition. There would be kitchen and all. So there are all options available for you. The university offers various meal plans as well. You can choose meal plans for yourself. It could be a 5-day meal plan, 7-day meal plan, and you can tell what your food restrictions are, or if you have any restrictions, you can also tell that to and they will accommodate your needs, and that way they will make sure that you are being fed well, right? And both the campuses, I say, living wise, studying, both are unique. They're part of the single university, and there are many programs you can take between the programs campuses as well. So that's an option for you to look at. At our Brantford campus, I was trying to tell, there are some very unique programs like a BA in criminology program. Very few universities offer law program. We have a partnership with University of Sussex, UK. You can get a BA LLB program. You can do a BA in criminology, BA in law and society or human rights, and take a law degree from University of Sussex and enhance your career in that way, right? And so you need to look at what fits your need, and depending on that, you'll be able to get a program at Wilfrid Laurier. The best part is we have academic advising always available for you from the very first day. Let's say you get into one program, after coming here you feel like this is not the program for you, or you don't feel comfortable in that, you can reach out to the academic advising and sit down with our academic advisors. They will guide you through the process of either how to be successful in the program you're already in, or if you can opt to choose and get into any other degree where you will be successful. So those services are available for you. All international students should always utilize the benefits, the services we offer or our international student services department gives you, such as peer tutoring program. So if you're in a program where mathematics is something you need to study and you are feeling a little bit disheartened, there are free peer tutors. So you go take that service. They will teach you for free. They'll help you to succeed. The university will pay them, and it would be covered. There's a writing center. I know a lot of students from Bangladesh and other Asian countries. They struggle sometimes with their assignments because we have not been taught how to do paraphrasing or synthesizing in the proper way in our education system. So here at the university, there's a writing center. They will not write your assignment for you, but you can take your assignment and say, this is my assignment. Is it right? So they can guide you through the process of writing. They can tell maybe this is something you need to fix. If you fix it, you will have better scores. So always check what services are available and utilize them. As an international student, you will be covered by your medical insurance, which is very essential for you to have. As here, once you have medical insurance, you're covered for the dental and eye care, depending on whatever plan that has been given to you by the university or the provider. So keep those things in your mind as well. Many students say, will I get my Bangladeshi food if I am in this region? For sure, you will be able to get the food of your choice. There are many stores in the region, in our close to our campuses, where you can go and buy the food of your choice, and it's easily available. Yeah.
So thank you, Bhai, for explaining. Actually, I was willing to ask you the question what you explained last time, because sometimes a lot of international students initially struggle to cope up and they just don't know what to do and they just give up. Sometimes the program, they go to other institution, but they should explore all the options university providing, as you mentioned, the free career counseling, free writing skills, and other networking. Your advisor can help you. So initially, they should explore. You should not limit yourself by your community. You should ask the international office and advisor. And I know that those students is always in touch with the international office and their career advisor. They are helping them a lot, and they are just overcome their situation very short time compared to the other student. They don't think that they should move to other program or they should move to other institution and so on. So since university are investing lot of things in guiding you in your struggling points or any difficult subjects, so you should explore those that you should leave the program or change the program. But there is always options, as Danibhai mentioned. If you finally think that after going there, this program is not for you, you can consult with your advisor and take a proper decision and so on. So Danibhai will not continue these things much longer. That before we leave, because as you mentioned, there are a lot of interesting subject you are offering, and some subjects are very rare in Canada. In next week, we'll discuss about some of the unique program you are offering and what are the career options, and we'll also discuss about the part-time job opportunities while student studying over there, and how should they apply for the job, how to make them much attractive to their employers and so on. But before we leave, can you tell us something? When I visit particularly there, you show me some of your reputed professor who got different kind of award and so on. So some interesting facts about Wilfrid Laurier University, its ranking and its achievement so far. It is more than 100 years old university. So there are a lot of interesting facts you told me during my visit. So can you tell us a little bit more so that the student can also learn?
Yep. So we have been constantly ranked for our student satisfaction. We have been constantly ranked for the quality of faculty we have, the research work we do. So we have been ranked #1 for the faculty. We have been #1 for our student satisfaction. Many times we also need to look at various other factors about the ranking. So overall, when we look at Wilfrid Laurier, we are #6 as a comprehensive university in Canada, and we work really hard to make it a place for the students to come and succeed. And if you're looking at only the rankings, I will say there's something more you need to understand about the ranking as to how these are being placed. And if you see some universities at the top 10, top 5, and some not there, it all depends on certain faculties as well. We will never compete with University of Waterloo or University of British Columbia, and there are multiple reasons. We don't have a medical at multiple rankings. But what you as an international student should look at is that if by coming to this university, will you be able to start a career of your choice or not? So that is what most international students should look at. So rankings could be on the basis of one program. So if you're going to University of Toronto, for example, for medical school, perfect. That's what you need to go for. And that's where the ranking is being identified and defined, right? So keep all those aspects in your mind before choosing an institution.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
few of our students also doing really well in some particular like debate competition or other competition, and your particular institution, as you mentioned, law as well as the joint program are very highly ranked. So you and some of your professors also internationally recognized for their research as well as their teaching. So student should always consider about the subject they are studying. So as Danibhai mentioned, sometime due to lack of little research in particular subject, your overall ranking may not be that good. But Wilfrid Laurier is still a very highly ranked, but in particular in some particular subject they are very highly ranked, and one of the best in the world. In the world. So we'll discuss it in your future episode. And meanwhile, if you have any question, feel free to ask us. We'll try to answer later on. And আপনাদের সাথে ইনশাআল্লাহ আমাদের next week এ দেখা হবে. So see you guys in next Friday in the same time. We'll discuss more about the Canadian study and its benefits as well as other relevant topics. And we will also discuss some of the key areas where a student can choose from in Wilfrid Laurier University, and what's current situation going on, how you can prepare yourself at this moment. So stay with us, and thank you for joining us and listening to us. So thank you, Danny Bhai, for your time. So I think from today's event, student will get to know about the importance of choosing right country and choosing right program, as well as how they can initially prepare themselves to coming to a new environment. And in between, if anyone have any question, feel free to ask. So Danibhai, thank you. To see you soon, hopefully next week, and stay safe by this time. Thank you, bhai.
Thank you, Touhid bhai, and thank you all students in Bangladesh.
কোনো question থাকে করবেন. So see you, bhai.
Take care. Bye.
আল্লাহ হাফেজ, আপনারা ভালো থাকেন.